for entertainment purposes only. And if you want true legal advice, contact your own lawyer.
A man from Miami, Florida, flies to Denver, Colorado. He has a tour planned because he has a very specific year and make and equipment package of a used BMW he wants to buy. So he'd laid out an itinerary for his car-seeking adventure that would take him to Denver, where he'd look at one car, through the Midwest, where he would look at three more, then to Rhode Island, then to South Carolina, before he would drive his rental car that he picked up in Colorado back to Miami, then make his decision and buy his BMW. His name was Nang Thai, T-H-A-I, Nang Thai. He rented a car from a regional rental company called Advantage Car Rental, picked it up in Denver, and then he was driving across the Midwest and comes into Nebraska. Well, an alert highway patrolman noticed that the license tags on the car, even though they were from Colorado, were expired. So he pulls the car over. He then asks, this car's from Colorado, and he says, that makes me a little suspicious. What are you carrying in the car? He says, me. I'm just going on this tour. And the cop says, nah. What, may I search the car? No. So he calls out the drug sniffer. Here comes Fido. Fido alerts. So they crack open the car, and in the back, behind the seat, stuffed up in the seat cushion, is 50 pounds of marijuana. Now, of course, Mr. Thai insists the pot isn't his. Nebraska authorities say, tell it to the judge. So they confirm the ownership of the car, but not the marijuana. Mr. Thai still faced transportation charges, so he sought counsel, thinking that he had been forced into being an unwitting mule for an employee of Advantage Rent-A-Car. And so I ask you, case or no case? And we will go first with you, Will Ramey. What say you?
Man, this is tough, and Todd has the distinct advantage.
Well, I know that. had he gotten hurt in the car, then you would have something.
Yes, and when he got out to do the sobriety test, a dog tipped him over.
Did the dog knock him down on the test? Boy, case or no case? And so we're talking about Mr. Thai. Whether he has a case.
Mr. Thai wants to take action, or is trying to seek counsel to take action against the car rental company and or the employee who rented him the car.
See, that's very helpful, because against the highway patrol, no.
That's not going to happen. We know that, yeah.
So who did he file? Did he file a suit against the car company?
I didn't say he filed suit. I say he sought counsel.
Sought counsel, yeah, and then the possible defendants are the car rental company and
the clerk or employee who rented him the car, who knew where it was going to end up in Florida.
Oh, yes, he knew the destination. I'm going to say case. I'm going to say that there was a case. Now, do you want me to get to whether he
who
prevailed?
Who
prevailed on that case? I'm going to split. I'm going to do a split here, and I'm going to say he did not prevail.
Oh. Interesting.
Case and he loses. Wow.
Case and he loses.
So I'll give my answer after the break as the ominous, well, I don't know how ominous guitar playing is. After the music comes, we'll go to break, and I'll give my answer when we come back.
All right. The conclusion to Case or No Case and much more Radio Law Talk are all straight ahead right here.
Oh, come on. That is Armadillo.
This is Radio Law Talk. And now, back to the show.
So, this case or no case, if I understand this one correctly, is Mr. Thai is going on a cross-country trip to maybe purchase a vehicle. He rents a vehicle in Colorado. Unbeknownst to him at the time, the registration had been expired on the vehicle that he rented from a car rental agency. And when he's going through Nebraska, is pulled over by an officer who sees the expired registration. The officer comes over, says, where you going? He gives his story. The officer says, I don't think so. Let me search your car. Guy says, no. And they bring out a drug-sniffing dog, find dope in the back seat.
Correct. And Mr. Thai says it is not mine, and there's no evidence tying it to him except for the fact that it is in the car.
Yes. All right, so here's what I see. I see a big Fourth Amendment problem for the CHP with this one. I'm going to say it's a case. All right. And the big problem that I've got is based upon the concept of prolonged detention. So case law says, for purposes of the Fourth Amendment, be free from unreasonable searches and seizures, and a detention qualifies under the Fourth Amendment. Being pulled over is a detention. There's a doctrine that says that traffic stops are to occur for no longer than it takes to satisfy the means and the ends of the traffic stop. So if an officer pulls somebody over for expired registration, and you go over and the guy says, okay, I rented the car, here's my rental agreement, everything that I've got, the officer would look at it, and generally speaking, they would issue a fix-it ticket. You got 30 days to get this remedied, be on your way and done. The whole thing should take maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes. It doesn't take that long. When the officer gets there and says, I don't think so, let me get a drug-sniffing dog, and assuming that the dog isn't in the back of the patrol officer's vehicle.
No, he had to call one in.
Yes. I mean, you're talking about something that takes 15, 20, 30 minutes to get the dog from wherever they are to come out to alert. Now you've got a prolonged detention situation. Under the Fourth Amendment, they could find all the dope they want. If the court determines that it's prolonged, it gets suppressed because of the violation of the Fourth Amendment. Any evidence that's found as a result of the violation, called the fruit of the poisonous tree, would be suppressed. And so I think that Mr. Ty has a very good defense when this is, and Will raised an interesting question. He goes, that raises the conundrum of when you exercise your constitutional rights, because you don't have to let him search, right?
Correct.
When you you exercise your constitutional rights, can the officer go, well, that makes you look guilty, and then use that as the basis? And the officers are not allowed, and the law does not allow the exercise of a constitutional right to be that which provides the probable cause to justify the search.
Well, a very good friend of mine who was a patrol person and then eventually went into education said, everybody I pull over, I say, you mind if I search the car? And if they say no, I usually say, why not? What are you hiding from me?
Yeah.
So that's not a presumption of innocence, is it?
No, it's not. And so that, I guess it'd be really difficult there where people have their exercise of constitutional rights being held against them. So in this case here, I'm going to say that it is a case, and that as to the criminal case, Mr. Ty prevails in anything that came against him, because before they even get to who possessed it and what happened, the evidence would be suppressed. It's not his. And so it goes away.
All right. So do you have any regrets over your answer that you gave us earlier, Will?
Nope. I'm sticking with it.
And you say it's a case and the plaintiff prevails? I mean, the defendant prevails?
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
And Todd, you say basically the same thing. Is that correct?
Well, who's your defendant, Mr. Ty?
Mr. Ty.
Or who was the defendant?
Who
my defendants that prevail are the rental car company and the employee.
Right.
So he went the civil route. I went the criminal route.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Defendants. I got my defendants and my plaintiffs backwards. I apologize. Okay, so those of you who say it is a case, may I see by a show of hands, please?
This always makes
that
me
would
nervous.
be Will and Todd.
Strategy.
Oh, brother.
I made the whole thing up. So, no points for you. And that, ladies, but it was an interesting one I made up, don't you think?
That was a law school exam.
Well, it reminded me of something that I saw the other day about a guy who was here from, I think, Dubai. And he wanted to travel throughout the United States, and he had his Lamborghini shipped over so he could do that.
Sure.
And there's a treaty for you to be able to drive your car without the registration tags, and he had everything there. You can find this video on YouTube because he gets pulled over, I think, in Oregon. And the officer that comes over that doesn't understand international law gave him all of the crap in the world, and he's sitting there trying to show, here's what it is. This is the treaty. Admittedly, the guy in the car could have done it without being so condescending.
Yeah, tactful would have been
but
helpful.
At the end of it, the officer didn't want to admit he was wrong. Finally comes back and says, well, I just got called out on another call. It's more serious than this. You just watch yourself, okay? And he takes off. So,
easy out.
Yeah.
Well, we all know if you get pulled over, the first test you must pass is the attitude test.
That's right.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is case or no case. 2 points for you today, Todd. 2 points for Fred via his proxy, Will.
Go to the website, radiolawtalk.com. That's radiolawtalk.com.